So on my Instagram stories the other day, I was asking everyone, what is your biggest frustration when it comes to clothing? And the answers, I think, were so remarkable and wide-ranging. I think that the most common was obviously about cost. Obviously, clothing is expensive. It's never gonna not feel that way. And so aside from that answer, there were 5, I think, that were the most common that I want to share with you today, because you're either going to feel like you've been there and you know exactly what that feels like, or you might think, yeah, well, that seems obvious, but you might realize that you are doing this issue. When you think about it, if you have something that is a regretful purchase or a closet full of regretful purchases, then I believe that that is where the expense feels the heaviest when it comes to your wardrobe. Because if you could trade all of your mistakes of purchases for like one luxury piece of clothing, like an awesome jacket for this fall, wouldn't you want to trade that? So I want to go into all of that today so that we don't have those regrets anymore. One of the biggest frustrations that everyone felt with their closet is being too focused on trends or trying to figure out what's in, what's out, and then dictating their closet around that and their purchases around that. Like, this is something that people are spending a lot of money on, and then they realize that it wasn't their personal taste at all. So when I think back on when I did that, it was a few years ago, and I spent over $1,000 on a purse that I thought, oh, I'm totally gonna wear this all the time, and I like it. But now it's a few years past, and I was thinking that thing had so much trendy details on it, and that bag was very trendy at the time. So now it doesn't really work for me. It wasn't timeless, and honestly, if it did work for me and it wasn't timeless, I probably still would be able to wear it today, but it didn't suit me. So really do your homework on what your style kingdom is and protect it at all costs. You only want trends to come into your style kingdom if they suit you. So yes, you can adopt a trend, but it has to honor you. The next thing that you should really avoid buying, and this is something that everyone felt frustrated by, was the sale, like something that's a bargain. So when you think about that, it's okay if you have a list of priorities and that item is now on sale. Like, that is such a win. But when it's not a win is when you just walk into a store and you go to where the sale is, and then you buy up all of these things that you didn't plan on buying. You didn't really have a place for them in your wardrobe, and you just got it because it was cheap. So this happened to me when I was really trying to stretch my dollar. I was trying to, I was new in my job, and I just really needed to make every purchase work for me as far as I could. But what ended up happening is I spent $10, which was a lot for me at the time. I spent it on shoes that were too small for me. And so I didn't look comfortable wearing them. I didn't feel confident wearing them. I felt like I was wearing $10 shoes, and that affected me in my psychology. And there's so much more to that. Now, when I started to work on my clothing budget a little bit more and making some room for that, I bought shoes that were in the, they were around $100, which was like, oh, I can't even imagine spending that. It was so hard for me at first. But then what happened is I wore those shoes everywhere, and everyone complimented me on my shoes, and I got better at my career. I felt confident, and my feet were supported. So buy your correct size, and don't be too focused on the bargains, because they can hurt you, literally, if you're wearing too small of shoes. The next most common answer when it came to what was the most frustrating thing about finding your personal style and clothing was about finding too many statement pieces. I think that people who answered this question this way was really people who have a better social life than I do. People who are always going out trying to find something new to wear on a Saturday night. And so then they wake up one morning and they look in their closet for things to wear, and nothing matches each other. It's sort of just this hodgepodge of things where you've got a sequin top over here and a chiffon dress over here, and there's no way to actually make a cohesive wardrobe. And there's not even sometimes a way to define your personal style with all of those different pieces. So are statement pieces bad? Absolutely not. They are fine, they are fun, and I think that wardrobes do need them, but they shouldn't be in your core closet. So what do I mean by that? that. It's really like if you had your own fashion line, and this fashion line lives in your wardrobe. Well, then you'd have this core piece of your closet, this signature collection, like so many brands do have, and they're known as bestsellers, and they have that perfect cut, and it defines them as a company or as a brand. Well, you can do that for yourself as well. You want to do this by building up mixable and matchable pieces so that you can just kind of close your eyes, pull out a bottom and a top, and then just be like, there's an outfit. When I started doing that, it was just the biggest win. I felt like I could do anything, I could go on any trip, and everything in my package of clothes is going to be like absolutely perfect for that trip. So if you bring this into your own daily life, this again, such a big win. There's no place you can't go, and people start to notice that you have your style put together. Now, with that said, if you feel like, Bethany, I don't know what my signature line of my closet would be like. If I have no idea what I'm doing as far as what represents me in clothing, or like how to make anything cohesive, that's really why I built a 6-week course on finding your personal style, so that you know exactly who you are and what you want to dress like, and you can be the hero version of yourself and find new bravery and confidence in what you wear every day. So I can make that super simple, and honestly, almost 5,000 women have already taken it and have loved it, and it's been life-changing. So I'm just going to leave a link to dearlybethany.com, and you can check that out there. On the other end of the spectrum, the woman who feels the most frustrated by their basics in their closet would feel basic, like they've had so much like blah clothing that they literally feel blah, like everything is really boring or solid colors or things that aren't daring, and there are some reasons for this. This might not be the most frustrating frustration, but there are definitely some reasons why this could be the case. So if there are other people that you need to budget for clothing, and you just can't seem to buy something that is a statement piece or a piece you feel amazing in, then you might want to reconsider that. You might want to move beyond the basics. Or if you just want to feel a little bit more braver in the choices that you're making with your style, then it's time to move beyond that signature collection and add some other pieces. So there's 2 ways I recommend doing this. Number 1, for affordability, you can buy a seasonal piece in a color that you love, and that isn't going to be something you spend $1 million on. You want to just make this something that is affordable, something that wouldn't be a huge risk, and something you could store away until the next year comes around and that new season hits. The other way is by accessories. So you can have that signature basic outfit, and then you can accessorize by things like a beautiful purse that you can wear every single day, and it might be a little bit loud, but it seems to go with everything. Or you could do that with a scarf that is seasonally appropriate, or a hat, same thing. There are so many ways that you can accessorize, and if you really want to play it safe, you can do this with jewelry in ways that are just braver than wearing nothing that would draw attention to yourself. So the way I teach this in my masterclass is that you do start with those signature pieces, your signature collection, but then you have to move beyond that eventually, beyond the basics, into those more statement pieces. And then finally, the biggest frustration that people voiced really had different labels on them as far as what that person's walk in life is, but as a whole, I think that a lot of people are focused on their future self rather than what suits them and is comfortable to wear now. So there's different ways that this could be. It could be that you're in college now and you're going to be a graduate student next year, or you are going to be in this awesome boss lady job next year, or there might be a size that you want to get to with your wardrobe and you're not there yet, or some people are going to have a baby soon and then that changes things. And yes, totally, there's a lot of things that are going to change as far as body composition. That just happens with time too. But then also, I think that a lot of people want to focus on their future self or their past self, things that they used to like or wish they could still wear or anything like that. And so I think that it's a very healthy idea to go into your wardrobe and realize how much of your closet is suiting you now, today. And you can either store away those other pieces or really rebuild those missing parts of your closet that you really could use some help with here and now. I went into an Apple store once and I was like, I really want this, or I really want this iPhone, and I just feel like I should wait until the next thing comes out that I really want to get. And one of the Apple geniuses actually said to me, those who always wait are always found waiting. Now, that was a really great way to sell me an iPhone, but I think that there's a lot of truth to that, like fortune cookie level of truth to that. Like, I want to frame that, because I think that a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to live in the here and now, and then we might actually find that what we bought in that moment suits us later on as well. So I do like to have a trajectory of, like, I could see myself wearing this 5-10 years from now, and if my body composition changes or my life changes, then I can sell that piece because it was quality in the first place. So I won't go in any more to keep this video short, but those were the top 5 of everything that people said were their biggest frustrations when it came to style. And they are things that you should avoid buying. I think that there's so many traps out there when it comes to buyer's remorse, and there are ways to go around it if you have a plan. That's the thing. Everything comes back to having a plan. Each one of these steps needs to be guided by being intentional. And the more intentional you are, the more that you can craft this vision of how you want to dress and who you want to be, that's when you're going to find the most success in your wardrobe. And you're going to save a lot of money because of those regrets not happening to you anymore. You're not a subject to them. They aren't happening to you. You are making things happen for yourself. So hopefully that was a word of encouragement for you today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And in the comments, I would love to hear what your frustrations are when it comes to your personal style and your fight with clothing, because we all have them and we all fall into these traps. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.